Marissa stood at the kitchen sink, her hands submerged in lukewarm water, scrubbing the same spoon over and over. Behind her, the chaos buzzed. Her sons, Liam and Evan, were locked in their fifth argument of the morning. Something about dinosaurs and who got the red T-Rex. She didn't even flinch anymore. She just scrubbed. The scent of peanut butter lingered in the air. The floor beneath her bare feet was sticky, probably from the juice spill she hadn't cleaned last night. Or maybe the night before. Days blurred now. She had graduated valedictorian in the spring of 2020. A 4.0 GPA, a degree in economics, honors cords she never got to wear in person. The ceremony was a Zoom call, her children playing in the background as she watched her name flash across the screen in silence. For months after, she threw herself into job applications. She tailored cover letters during nap times, rehearsed interview questions while folding laundry. Rejection after rejection came. "You're very impressive," they'd say politely over video calls, "but we went with someone with more experience." She stopped counting after the 20th interview. Experience. That word haunted her. Hadn't she spent 4 years breaking down macroeconomic models while nursing babies? Hadn't she written research papers on labor markets while running on 2 hours of sleep and pure will? The world didn't seem to care. To them, she was a mom who had paused her career, except she never got to start it. By the fall, their savings account had dwindled. Her husband's job covered the essentials, but not much more. The stress seeped into their marriage. Even the smallest things, forgotten diapers, overcooked pasta, became points of tension. One night, after a particularly hard fight and the boys finally asleep, Marissa curled up on the couch with her laptop and stumbled upon a YouTube video titled, "How I Made $10K Day Trading from Home." It felt too good to be true. But then again, everything else she'd tried had failed. She opened a brokerage account the next day. The first month she lost $2,000, money they couldn't afford to lose. She felt like a fraud, an imposter. She hated herself for thinking she could make this work. The candlestick charts, the volatility, the foreign jargon, none of it made sense at first. But something inside her refused to quit. So she shifted. Instead of chasing quick wins, she started waking up at 4 a.m. to study. She devoured books, joined online trading communities, and tracked every single trade in a journal. She learned about risk management, emotional discipline, technical indicators, and price action. Every candle on the chart began to tell her a story: fear, greed, hesitation. Her sons would stumble out of their room around 7, their hair sticking up in wild directions, and find her already 3 hours into her morning, sipping cold coffee, charts open, eyes sharp. Some days were still red. Sometimes she cried in the bathroom, silent tears so no one would hear. But little by little, her losses became smaller and her wins more frequent. 3 months in, she made her first profitable week. The $200 she earned felt more victorious than her entire college career. She used it to buy new shoes for Evan and a small bouquet of flowers for herself. "Who are those for, Mommy?" Liam had asked. "For a woman who's learning how to believe in herself," she replied. By spring, she was covering the grocery bills. By summer, the electric. Her confidence started to return, not the kind that came from a perfect transcript, but the kind forged in fire. Her world still looked messy. The house wasn't always clean. She yelled too much some days. She forgot to respond to texts, but she was growing. In knowledge, in power, in self-worth. One afternoon, after a particularly strong trading morning, Marissa closed her laptop and stepped into the living room. The sunlight spilled across the floor, warm and golden. Liam was building towers with blocks. Evan was curled up with a picture book. She knelt between them and felt the weight of everything. Not failure, not loss, but transformation. She hadn't just survived the isolation of COVID, the disappointments of the job hunt, the unrelenting demands of motherhood. She had charted her own path, unseen, untraditional, and entirely her own.